Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Medic Side Hustle podcast. This is one of your short solo episodes where it's just me and you talking over all things impact and how to make medicine your side hustle. I'm going to try something different and go a bit off script today so we can have a genuine conversation rather than me reading something out that I wrote last time. If you like this kind of format, do let me know. You can drop me a message on LinkedIn or in the comments on wherever you're listening, whether it's Spotify or YouTube. I think today I want to talk to you about mission and vision, why that's important in your journey as a clinician trying to do something beyond just clinical work, how you can start to think about it, and some top tips to figure that out. So, one of the reasons this is coming up for me is because I've just covered this topic for the Clinician Impact Actionship. It's begun as a fantastic founding cohort of 8 clinicians looking at everything from healthcare advisory work to healthcare design, AI, biochemistry and fitness, social entrepreneurship, and all sorts. And we're working through a lot of challenges around their confidence, how to network, how to influence, and how to actually create a career of fulfillment and freedom for them. And one of the first modules that we've just worked together is on first things that I did when I started off my coaching business as well. Created a mission statement, a vision of what I wanted the world to look like, what I wanted my world to look like, and what I didn't want to have in my world was also a big part of it. I think it gives you the clarity to set a direction you want to head towards. Often we try and get a bit muddied and we worry about getting this right because if it's not perfect, we worry we're heading in the wrong direction. But rather than looking at it as a train track you're going to go down, look at it as the rough destination you're going towards. So you may say that you want to head towards east of England rather than the southeast for holiday. You may not have clarity on whether you're going to Cromer or Great Yarmouth, but you know you want to go sort of on that area in that region. So you can take a train down to east of England and then take a further train down into later destinations. And that's okay. It's okay to not be 100% certain about your mission and vision statement right from the beginning. But having that in your mind gives clarity, not just for yourself in terms of where to put your efforts and which direction to move in, but also in terms of the messaging, because once you have clarity, then you can bring other people on board your mission and speak with conviction and talk about what matters to you and why it should matter to them. So I think for me, that's the big benefit of doing the exercise and doing the hard work of figuring out what your vision and your mission is. And it also kind of just goes back to the foundations of kind of self-development and modern day coaching and psychocybernetics, which is also a book that you can read, Psychocybernetics. It talks about how your mind is essentially a fantastic processing machine. And the moment it knows what you're after, the moment you can see what you want, it works subconsciously at such a scale that it gets you exactly what you're looking for, whether that's positive or negative. So whether you see yourself as someone in abundance or someone in scarcity, it will get you to that state. Someone who's healthy versus unhealthy, it will get you to that state. And you know the phrase when you might say that, why did you make that decision? Or why didn't you take that job? And you might say, or somebody else might say that, oh, I just couldn't see myself doing it. It seems like a figure of speech that you couldn't see yourself doing it. But the truth is that you often would have seen yourself do something before you actually do it. It's part of making a decision. And if you can't see yourself doing it, you're rarely going to do it. And in the simplest way, that's really a vision of your future self. So if you can see yourself doing it, you're more likely to do it. And if you can't see yourself doing it, then you're unlikely to do it. So part of the exercise of hashing out your vision might actually unveil to you something that you thought you wanted or thought you would have, but you can't visualize because there perhaps is something holding you back, or perhaps there's a limiting belief around that space, or perhaps that's really not what you want and you might be wanting it for a different reason, like often satisfying a or a childhood expectation or overcoming societal expectations. And the truth is that more often than not, especially if I'm speaking to the right listeners of this podcast, I know that you've often been high achievers. And by being high achievers, you're probably the kind of people that have rarely failed to get what you've wanted to get to. Like put in, if you've been very, very clear about exactly what you want and have put in the effort to get there, taken the right sort of guidance and taken the appropriate steps, it's very unlikely you haven't achieved what you originally set out to achieve. And if there is something that you thought you would have achieved but haven't achieved, I'd argue that perhaps there was a degree of hesitation behind that and you're not actually too upset about it. But yeah, just throwing my thoughts out there. So let's get into vision and mission. And I think I'm going to try my best to simplify this for you here and perhaps share a couple of coaching questions that you can think through as well. So let's talk about vision first. So vision is really, as it says, what you can see, the future state that you can see. So a vision is what you want the world to look like in the future, perhaps different from how it might look now. And I'm going to share a few examples with you here so that it's easier for you to think about. So let's talk about MSF, Doctors Without Borders, and their vision statement. So their vision statement is a world in which people in crisis can access high quality medical care regardless of race, religion, or political affiliation. So that's their vision statement. That's the version of the world that they want to see. What about LinkedIn? Let's look at LinkedIn. So LinkedIn says they want to create economic opportunity for every member of the global workforce. That's their vision statement. And TED, as in TED Talks, their vision is that they believe passionately in the power of ideas to change attitudes, lives, and ultimately the world. So they believe that ideas can change the world, and that's the version of the future state or the vision that they have in their mind of a future that they want to bring to life. Why do they want to bring to life? We'll probably talk about that in the next episode, but there's often something that everyone's really passionate about, something that hits home, something that explains your entire journey and is leading you towards somewhere. That's that a part of that can be captured within your vision statement. So if you're thinking about your vision statement, I think a few things to consider might be a question that Hannah Brew has asked me on her podcast. What upsets you in the world right now? What's something that you really get upset about? And if you could talk about it on a podcast, what is it that you would talk about if you were asked what upsets you in the world? Think about that. Think about the change you want to see in that domain. Another question to consider might be, what would you like to see that doesn't yet exist? And often the underlying thought around this is, what would you like to see that would help you or a member of your family or somebody that you care about that doesn't yet exist? And you don't have to be able to make it exist. You don't have to know exactly what it might look like. But what is it? What's the missing piece? Another question that you can think about is, when you were a child and imagined the adult world, what did you expect that isn't currently present? Now, hopefully, this has stirred up a couple of things for you, and perhaps versions of these can become your vision statement. My vision is a world where medicine or clinical work is only a part of the ways in which clinicians make an impact. They lead lives of fulfillment and freedom, really being in control and being torchbearers of significant impact in this world. And start somewhere, but start with a vision statement. So with that, I think let's quickly talk about mission statement. And simply put, if the vision is the future state you want to see, then mission is the action state you want to be in. So the mission is the action state that will take you to your vision, the future state. So what is it that you can start doing now on a repeatable basis that will get you closer to your vision state? Or what do you want the world to start doing that will take everybody to the future vision state that you imagine? So let's go back to the couple of examples we looked at earlier. Mission being the action state. So for MSF, their mission is MSF provides independent, impartial medical humanitarian assistance to people affected by armed conflict, epidemics, natural disasters, and exclusion from healthcare. So you can see how their mission directly leads into their vision. LinkedIn says their mission is to connect the world's professionals to make them more productive and successful, linking directly into their vision of economic opportunity for everyone. And TED, we probably know TED's mission. They say spread ideas because they believe in the power of ideas to change the world. So that's mission and vision, and the idea of doing this very early on in your journey is that it gives you something to work towards. It gives you clarity in terms of where you're putting your efforts. It gives you clarity in terms of what you want people around you to do. It gives you clarity of where you want to head next. So I think this is an exercise worth considering. And for mission, let's go into a couple of questions that you can think about. So the first one is, what's a repeatable process that if you did daily or weekly, it would help you bring your vision to life? And the second one, what are your personal skills and abilities that can contribute to your vision? What outcome do they bring to the world? And perhaps that could be your mission. My mission is to help clinicians find their zone of impact. So hopefully that's given you a little something to think about when it comes to beginning your journey on something beyond just the clinical work, because when we're in medicine, we often don't think about what our mission and our vision is. Like, what are we hoping to achieve? What are we trying to do? We just show up to work, to shift, and work kind of shows up in our hands and we just go ahead and do it. But when you're stepping outside, you really got to have that clarity in terms of the direction you're setting. So feel free to have a think about that. Drop me a message on LinkedIn if you like. And by the way, I'm doing my webinar once again on the 20th of May at 5:30 p.m. British summertime. So that's a webinar on the 5 secrets to high impact non-clinical careers. There's still time to register for it. So if you're interested, head over to coachwithshub.com/webinar and you can find the sign up form there. And I'll be sharing more mindset shifts and important things to consider when you're trying to make your way beyond the bedside and really leading something that makes a difference in this world. So thank you once again for tuning in. Hope this has been an interesting one for you. Let me know if you liked it. Let me know if you didn't. And until next time, see you soon. Bye.